Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pets or Family. I'm Tricia Montgomery, along with
Jessica Abernathy,
your host for this fun and informative video podcast where we talk about the real issues that matter to you as pet parents and way more. How do you make your pets feel like family? Jessica, how you doing?
Look at that. The Friends reference is all coming out. I'd be fine.
It is.
If I could do Phoebe, I would. I would so do Phoebe, but I can't.
I was such a fangirl of Phoebe. I loved Phoebe, and I loved the cat songs, the creepy cat.
I love Phoebe, and I love Jennifer, and I love Friends. I was one of those crazy ones that loved Friends.
I did too. And to think there's a whole generation now that are just getting to know Friends, and I love them. I used to want to wear my hair like Jennifer Aniston. I think I still try to do that a little bit. I don't know if it's still popular, but I'll take it. I'll take it any day.
Yeah. Most people that know me, I've had short shaved hair almost all my life, this is a long COVID hair, most people went short for COVID. I went long. I grew it out. I got past the Carol Brady, for those that actually know who Carol Brady is. I made it through the Carol Brady grow out stage. And so now Marsha. Right? We're not dating ourselves or anything, are we? You know what I mean? Nope. Yeah.
Oh, no. I'm proud of my age. I'm okay with that. It's a number. I think you told me a story. You passed by your ex-husband and he didn't even recognize you. That says something, Miss Jessica.
No, it's great. I'm okay with it. So, we keep moving. So that works for me. So,
oh my gosh. Who we got coming up today?
So we have a friend of mine, Isabel Alvarez, and she is a fellow podcaster. She's got her own podcast, but we're having her on as a pet parent too. And we'll have her tell us about her podcast. But we have her coming on as a pet parent because she travels with her pets. And she just adopted a cat. They just went on an adventure. She has 2 small children, a dog and a cat. So I think it's great because when she adopts her animals, she makes sure that they are travel worthy, which a lot of people don't think about that. When they adopt the pets, they always think about keeping them at home with pet sitters, which that's one of the things that I do. And I have pet sitting companies, but she used to have a pet sitting company too, but she travels with her animals. So it's really fascinating. So I'm excited to talk to her a little bit about that. So let's go.
Yeah, can't wait. Let's grab her. Let's go.
All right, there we go. Hi, Miss Isabel. It's nice to see you again. You and I have known each other for years and years and years. And welcome to our podcast. I've been on yours a couple times, and I appreciate that. And Tricia, meet Miss Isabel. She's one of my favorite people.
It's so nice to see you both. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
We have heard so much about you.
Have you? All good, I hope.
All good. All good.
All good.
Yes. Good. Well, I am so happy that you guys are doing this. It sounds like an awesome podcast, and I can't wait to tune in.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I wanted to have you on today for a specific reason, and I'll have you on again because we want to definitely talk about your podcast because I enjoy yours just because everybody likes to have a cocktail and drink and talk about their pets. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Who doesn't? As Tricia goes and gets her bottle of wine because she really thought we were going to drink today and talk about
If you had told me, I'd be having a mimosa right now. If we had coordinated this, I would be having a mimosa.
You're talking my language. That is my favorite drink. I love if I could drink a mimosa all day long, I would.
Oh my gosh, hydration and a little bubbly. It's always a good idea.
Right? Yeah, Tricia was all bummed about that. She was like, seriously, you forgot to tell me we're allowed to drink today.
When you guys come on my show, then we will have a boozy pet podcast as my show is. So we will share all the drinks you want. Okay.
There you go. Trisha's ready to go.
Great. It's a date.
Well, we want to talk to you about traveling with your pet because I know, and I've known you for years. You and I have known each other a long time. And I've seen you've had a couple pets come and go. And unfortunately, it's a hard thing. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
you recently adopted a new little guy and he's beautiful, mind you. I just have to say that.
Thank you. I think so too.
Oh, he is beautiful, but I will let you tell him about it. But you're also teaching him how to travel with you. And I think that's fascinating. So tell us a little about the newest addition of your family.
Well, I'll start by saying we are a military family. So we have had to travel with our pets a lot, moving from one station to another. So with dogs mostly, we have had to, kind of deal with putting them in the car and going for a long time. And not all of them loved the car as much as, we think that dogs always love to go for a ride. Not all of them do. I think my Titan used to get car sick. So we've traveled a lot with our dogs. And then when we fostered the kittens I took in a few years ago in Louisiana, I didn't want to rehome them in Louisiana. So I flew with two of them and I traveled road trip from Louisiana, almost Texas border, to Virginia with them. So that taught me a lot about, especially cats that had never really been outside of our house.
Right.
Going from that to an airline, going from that to like a 2-day road trip. And now that I was down to one dog who is very easy, she's a little bit nervous, but she is very social and she's very happy around people, even though she gets a little intimidated with certain interactions because she's just shy. She does well with travel. And she's 12. So we decided now that we were down to one, we were only going to do one dog and we were going to spoil her, but she didn't want to be an only dog. She was super depressed. She had separation anxiety like nothing I'd ever seen before. But because we've had so many dogs and so many losses, and I have 2 young children, I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old and a military husband that travels all the time, I didn't want to take in a puppy because that would be the most appropriate pet for little kids is a puppy or a kitten, right? Where they're more tolerant with the learning process that kids are still going through when it comes to like dealing with their cats.
Yep.
And I decided to get a cat. And I was very specific about the cat I wanted. I told the rescue I want a cat that would be like a good harness cat, that would be a good social cat, that would want to be around people. And so we went with like a 4 to 6 month old. My vet said he was a little older. The rescue said he was closer to 4 months. His name is Van Gogh. He's a Russian blue mix. So like he looks like a Russian blue. Like I'm not sure what his genealogy is. He literally, when I met him, came up to me, started loving me. I told him I could only take him. I couldn't take his sister because I only wanted 2 pets right now. And I said, it's okay if you don't want to come with me. And he jumped in the carrier. Like how many cats do you know jump in a carrier? Right. So I brought him home and 2 weeks after getting him, we went on vacation with him because I really wanted to be intentional about having him be comfortable with the experience of travel, which is not something you want to put off for 5 years and then throw them into a road trip. He's young and he's open and he's comfortable and he just has the personality for it too. So with the socialization, the acclimatization and his personality, it's like working out beautifully. I'm so happy with what we've done so far.
He's a handsome fellow. I've seen pictures of him.
Gosh.
He's super handsome. One of the reasons I wanted you and I are friends on Facebook, and I saw the pictures of him traveling right away after you got him, and he did great. I mean, amazing. I mean, it was like he didn't even care that he was in a hotel. I mean, he was just like, huh. And he didn't care he was in a car. He didn't care about anything. He didn't care if you had 2 kids. He didn't care about anything. He didn't. No, it was amazing. What did you do to get him ready for the trip?
So the biggest thing was getting acclimated to the carrier because I am a big believer in like, especially in the car. Obviously on airplanes, you have to keep them in a carrier, but in the car, because nobody's watching you and there are no laws here saying that you have to have your pet in a carrier, people don't do it. People don't think about it. It's not until they have a tragic accident where the pet goes missing that they realize, oh, maybe he should have been in a carrier. So for me, it's always been really important that he be in the carrier. Like, even if he whines the whole time, I said, he's going to be in the carrier, in the car, especially with young kids, with a dog that he's still getting to know. I mean, think about the chaos that could ensue if the dog goes after the cat in the car while we're driving with the kids in their car seats. I mean, it's just insanity. So the biggest thing was getting him comfortable with the carrier that he was going to be in. It's also a backpack. So I walk him in that with my dog every day. So he has a positive association with it because yes, he uses it to go to the vet, but yes, he also takes walks with it every afternoon. So he goes in not necessarily by himself. Like I kind of put him in there, but he stays. I zip it up. And like I would just, like we do with any reinforcement, I did treats, a lot of treats, giving him treats while he was in it with it open. And every day he would be in there a little longer. My walks would get longer. So at first it was just like down to the mailbox or down to the corner of the street. And now it's around the block. And now it's a little bit further on a different block. And so it was like really progressive. And on the day of the trip, he was already just like kind of used to being in there, but not for the 5 hours we were going to be in the car. So we also stopped. I put him in there. We put him in the car for the first 20 minutes. He meowed, just kind of kept him near, reinforced him verbally. And then he eventually just fell asleep. And once he was up again, I was like, okay, now we are going to stop. He had the harness on him the whole time, just in case something happened and he got out. And now my husband was walking the dog and I was giving him like full run of the car, still on a harness and a leash, just so that he could like move his legs, stretch his legs, interact with the kids, interact with me, purr, get some loving. And then once we were done, like having our snack, everybody using the bathroom, then he went back in his carrier and he did really great. And it was right at the beginning of being in the carrier that he would kind of whine and be like, why am I in here? But on the way back, he didn't make any noise because he kind of knew what to expect. He was like, okay, I'll be in here for a while and then they'll get me out. Like we didn't push him to the point where he started to hate the crate or the carrier, which I think a lot of pet parents inevitably do.
Right.
So we were very cognizant of like not pushing him to the point where he was like beyond done with the carrier. And now I don't ever want to go in there again. So it's all about his comfort. And luckily we have little kids, so it kind of works because they're getting antsy at the same time.
Right.
You know? So I kind of was like, okay, everybody's getting antsy. Let's take a break. And it works really well.
I love how you've taken such a beautiful job and just acclimated properly, because especially with cats, it's not so easy to travel with them. With dogs more so. I also love the fact that you are preparing them for the trip and all the steps that you took, because I don't think pet parents know that. I think from a dog perspective, yes, but not from a cat perspective. And taking the walks and the harness, that's just beautiful. Is there any particular backpack or harness that you would recommend for the pet parents, or no?
No, I just went with what I found at PetSmart and Target, honestly, because it was kind of short notice. If anybody's listening and is wanting to buy something, I highly recommend catschool.ca. She's Canadian, Julie Posland. She's amazing. She was a guest on my show. She does a lot of training with her cats, and she's somebody you should definitely have on your show. She's wonderful. On her website, she has like a harness leash combo. She has a clicker training kit for cats, and I think that that's a really good resource. But I was like kind of like short for time, so I just had to get what I got. I decided to get a cat on Monday, and on Tuesday I was picking him up. So I went to PetSmart. Luckily they had a backpack because that's what I wanted. I was checking out and the girl was like, I just got one and we didn't have that like a week ago. And I was like, yay, I got lucky. So we just dealt with what we had locally. But if I were to buy something, the harness that he has right now is kind of like just like the nylon strips. I would get one that's more like a vest. And so I probably will upgrade him once we start going a little further. But right now for the harness training, he walks around my backyard. He stays in the backpack for our walks just because I don't trust other people in our area. But once, maybe when my husband's there and we can do more, I'll want him to be wearing a vest kind of harness. And harness training is really important. You got to put it on properly. You got to stand behind them so they don't pull out of it. You have to be really strategic about it. So, we're taking it slow. I think the most important thing for me is safety. And he is microchipped and he does wear a collar. But here in our area, a cat that's out, people don't really think is like out by mistake.
Right.
They think that it's just like an indoor-outdoor cat. And my cat is not an indoor-outdoor cat. His collar actually says Van Gogh indoor cat, so that people know that he's supposed to be inside. So if you find him, please bring him back.
Right. Right. I find that fascinating, Isabel, because one of the things I was going to ask you is what made you pick a backpack? Because my first cat, her name was Lulubelle. She was a black and white, long-haired kitty. And I did the same thing. I made sure she was comfortable in the car. But I had a little small cat carrier that I had for her because backpacks, I'm dating myself. I've been doing that a lot lately. But back then we did not have backpacks for cats. You know what I mean? So I had a little carrier and I left it out in the house and she would come and go. She slept in it and I put her in the car and I took her like to the bank. You know what I mean? We would run to the
Yes.
grocery store. She would go to my mom's with me. I mean, like anywhere I went, I took her with me everywhere. So that way she was always comfortable being in the car. But what made you pick the backpack over a crate? I'm just worried.
Because I wanted it to be more of an adventure cat situation. So like I want to be able to take him hiking. We live somewhere beautiful. We live on the west side of El Paso, and we have a hiking trail like literally across the street from us. The entrance, or what is it called? The trailhead is like
I was
right
gonna
there.
say the start of the trail.
Yeah, the trailhead is right there, like up the street from me. So I want him to be able to come with us. My husband is about to retire from the military in a year and a half.
Really?
Yay.
Yay. I was gonna say he's not old enough to retire. He just got the years in, right?
Yes, he's in
Okay.
his early 40s. So I know when I say my husband's retiring, people are like, she married up. Like
That's why I was
by a
like,
lot.
he's not his age,
No.
he's young. He's just got the
Yes.
years into the military, correct?
Exactly. He's retiring after 20 plus years in the military.
Wow.
So
Thank you
he
for your
doesn't-
service.
thank you so much. We've put in a lot of effort and a lot of sacrifice, as most all military families do. And we've been apart a lot. He's deployed while our kids were little. So he doesn't want to go back into any kind of work that would be like 9 to 5 or anything. He wants to do something that's more flexible. And he hopes his plan for the next 5 years is to maybe get an RV and do some traveling. So we wanted our pet to be a pet that would be comfortable partaking in that kind of lifestyle. I mean, this cat is probably going to be more comfortable in an RV than I am, to be honest. You know, I don't know that I'm made for that life, but my husband hopes that that's the life we're going to at least enjoy for a few years down the line. So that's why we thought backpack would be more portable.
Right.
And with little kids that still want to hold your hand, a backpack is perfect because like I can tend to both of them, and I walk my dog every day, right? So having him in a backpack and her on a leash is perfect.
That's perfect.
I see a series of Van Gogh, like maybe like like a children's book, like a whole. I can just see that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you know, it's funny. I've never found a book that really teaches boundaries around pets in a way that's very clear and cut and dry. Like if a cat walks away from you, let them walk away. If a cat was laying there letting you pet and gets up, now they don't want to be pet anymore. Those kinds of things. And we teach that to our kids. But sometimes I feel like they listen to the books more than they do us. So I agree. Maybe Van Gogh needs to teach a few kids a few lessons about interacting with cats and dogs.
I was going to say, and if I know Isabel, I can't imagine that's not already in the works.
You know, there's so many books in the works, but I write professionally now for others. And now it doesn't leave a lot of time for writing for myself. But the goal is once my husband retires, I will have more time to maybe tell some stories.
Yep. I was going to say, I can see that. You know what I mean? Start taking the pictures now. So that way when you find an illustrator, and I know a lot of illustrators.
Ooh, that's good to know.
I do. Yes. My little brother has an illustration, and I know a bunch of his friends that have they all went into children illustrations. Yeah. My little brother's got a couple
amazing.
books. Yeah. So I know a lot of. Yeah. Well, you come from a family of, we all love pets, you know that. So
yeah.
And he loves kids and stuff. So it's cool. But yeah, I can totally see you writing a book about Van Gogh.
Oh my gosh. I keep saying he's so beautiful. Like I love interior design, and he's like upgraded all of my home design by just sitting on it. He just like sits in a window and I'm like, wow. And he like sits on a chair and I'm like, look at that chair. It just looks so much more beautiful now. He really is a thing of beauty. So that's why his name is Van Gogh.
He is beautiful. I've seen pictures of him, and I love gray cats. I have a thing for black animals, but he is a beautifully black cat. I mean, gray. Sorry, gray cat.
His sister was black, and I was so tempted to take her, and I really felt bad separating them, but they weren't bonded. They were kittens, right? So like they weren't bonded, but the rescue assured me she'd be fine. She'd be adopted. They were a great rescue out of Las Cruces, New Mexico. And I looked at her and I was like, God, I love a black cat. Oh, I want her so bad, but I didn't want to overextend myself. And I thought, especially with the training that I want to do with Van Gogh, having a second would have made it really difficult.
Right. Right.
So I really thought I'll do this for now, and I can always bring another cat home in 2-3 years when maybe Kira's no longer with us because she's 12. So we don't know how long she's going to be here. And as they get older, they need more. So I didn't want to overextend myself with other pets when my senior pet is going to definitely need more of me as the years progress.
Right.
Yeah.
So is there anything that you want to leave our listeners before you go about traveling with your pets? Is there any big tips?
Yes.
Small tips?
Yes. Yes. So I do have a few very important tips. If you don't have a pet yet, tell the rescue that you want a pet that would be amenable to traveling and being in social situations and wearing a harness if it's a cat. The rescues always know. If you fall in love with a pet and they tell you that pet's probably not going to meet that expectation, trust them, trust the rescue. I always say the rescues know their pets and they want to see a match. So if they tell you that's not the best match, listen to them and keep looking for the right pet to travel with. And if you already have a pet and you want to start traveling with them, don't think about you can't teach an old dog new tricks or anything like that. Just start slowly and use a lot of treats and get them acclimated. And if they start showing stress, back off and then try again another day. Like, don't be discouraged if your cat flops for the first time you put the harness on. That is normal. They're going to do that. And they're going to do that a lot. And they're going to look like a little rag doll that like can't move. And if you progress to them wearing the harness, but now you're outside in your yard in a safe space and you have the leash on them, they're going to start flopping again because the leash takes time to get used to, right? Mm-hmm. So all of it is a progression, and a little bit at a time works great. Rome wasn't built in a day. Your pet, it took them however old they are to like figure out how to live in your home. It's going to take them probably that long to figure out how to travel with you. So just take it one day at a time, but don't give up, because that's one of the things that I feel like people do is they say, oh, I tried harness training or I tried crate training, but the pet didn't like it. And like, how long did you try? One day. You didn't try. That was not even an effort. That was not an attempt at all.
Nope.
That was like an intro and you stopped.
Yep. We're working on that with Bin Laden. He's we put the harness on him at least every weekend for a little bit. He likes it, and he likes going outside, and he's gotten better. But the first time we put it on, he's like, and he was just like, yes. I don't know about this, and we just let him sit out there. And after a while, he'll get up and be like, okay, I'll take 2-3 steps and then boom, on the other side. Yep. And then he'll get up, take 2-3 steps. Boom. By the end of summer, he was like, okay, I can cruise in this,
Right. And that's the thing. Put it on them, let them do all that. Just stay close so they don't get themselves into trouble. Like they might, I don't know, try to jump up and not make it because they're wearing something that's different for them. So just stay close and monitor them, but you don't have to be on top of them. Give them treats when you first put it on so that they're happy. Give them 5 minutes to just explore their house with that on. Once they look like they're kind of over it, take it off and try it the next day. It's not something that has to be learned immediately. I mean, I'm raising kids, and trust me when I tell you, they don't learn things overnight either. Like this is not a specific to cats. This is just learning takes time.
It does. It does. That's awesome. I'm so excited. But that's cool. Well, thank you, Isabel. We definitely are going to have you on again because that's fascinating. So, Trisha, anything before we leave?
No, thank you for sharing, Isabel. Gosh, we've gained so much information on traveling with your pets and the do's and the don'ts of when you're acclimating your pet or even considering getting a pet before adopting, making sure that that pet's right for your family, that cat, that dog.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. Love you. Love your background. Can't wait to have you on again. Thank you.
Thank you. And I am going to send you a link to get you on season 4 of Covered in Pet Hair, okay? And then we're going to have all the drinks.
Sounds great for me. All right.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks again for having me.
Anytime. Well, that was fascinating. I don't know about you, and she's got the patience of a saint because of 5'3", older dog and a new kitten. God love her. I mean, I love Isabel. You know that because I told you I wanted to have her. Love Isabel and training a new kitten, 2 young kids, and a senior dog. And I find her fascinating. And I think that's awesome. And I love the fact that she wants to teach other people how to do it too.
I agree with you. And from a military background and that travel and that moving consistently and heading to El Paso and just having the wherewithal and the thought to go, I need to do something about this because we're going to be moving, and how I'm going to take care of my cat and making sure that I can put her in the crate and make sure she's okay. And you don't want flying cats as you're driving. So it's an accident looking for a place to happen, I think. But just, she's amazing, absolutely amazing. The tips that she gave for pet parenting, what to know, what to do, and preparing and making sure, and acclimating. If you're thinking about getting an animal, those things that you got to know.
Yep. She's a wealth of information. I mean, if you don't know Isabel, you need to know Isabel. And I'm going to give her a plug. She's got a great podcast, Covered in Fur. It's a boozy podcast, which I love. You know what I mean? I've been on her podcast before, when she first came out as the president of NAPS. And I loved it. Like I said to you earlier on when we were off camera, I was pretty sure she drank a sidecar. I think that's what her husband made her. I don't remember. And I was drinking, I think, a glass of wine in a coffee cup or something like that. You kind of hide what you were drinking. Maybe I did drink it. But I know my wine was like half a bottle. I poured enough to make it through the whole thing, but it was large. But yeah, she's got a great show too. I always want to give her a shout out because her show is really informational too. So you guys, everybody would love it. But yeah, I love that about her. I like how she's always looking for, she includes her pets. Like we talk, pets are family. Her pets are family. You know what I mean? And she talks about how she's trying to raise her kids so that they understand that they have boundaries. Like we have boundaries and your kids have boundaries, your pets have boundaries. And she really wants those, her youngins there I go again with that word, right? Her little ones understand that your animals have boundaries too. Can't wait to see the books that are going to come from this.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's so important from a standpoint of teaching your children right and the boundaries that you place upon your children and, whether it's pulling or tugging, because things can happen and you've got to be very, very careful with that. And I just, she's a wealth of, and she's a light. There's just like this beautiful energy about her. And I just love her background, just everything about her. I can't wait to have her on again. Yeah, this is just a dream to be doing this right now. I have to say it, Jessica, I love you. And I just love this. And we're doing just, we spend a lot of time together, Jessica, you and I do, I wake up with you and I go to bed with you. So no, I'm not really like that, but you know what I mean?
Yep.
But
we spend a lot of time together. We do.
A lot of time together. It's just such a blessing and an honor to give pet parents the education that they need and that the tools to be a good pet parent, to be a better pet parent, or even to learn from the pet parents too.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. We definitely are going to have her on again. We definitely have to, because she's a wealth of information and she's an example of what pet parents want to be. We all can learn from her, and I think it's great. Mm-hmm. So awesome. Yeah. Well, I don't know about you, but I got to get going. So how are you going to make your pets feel like family this week? We'll see you guys next week. Love you. Mwah.
Can't wait. Bye.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
We hope you enjoyed this new episode. And if you did, please leave us a review on Spotify or wherever you're listening to us today. If you want to reach out to us, feel free to find us on petsourfamily.net or any of our social channels, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. And we want to remind you, pets are family. Have a good one. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye, guys.